Gay SA Radio, where you are family.
Good day, this is GaysaRadio, and you are where you are family. And I'm speaking to this wonderful, talented Peter Ngqibs that's got a new song out and a new album, as I understand. But the feature song is called Sweetie. Welcome, Peter. How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you. How are you doing?
We're doing well, thank you. Just dying of the heat. We're talking about your new song that you brought out, Sweetie. Can you share the inspiration behind your new song? What theme or experiences influence the creation of this body of work?
This particular song is a part of my album that I released last week, Friday. I wrote this song, Sweetie, after actually being rejected by someone I wanted to collaborate with, a peer. And usually when people say no, they just say, no, this is not my sound, not my style, I'm not vibing with the music, and they keep it moving. But this particular person went on to say that my music was too show-tuney and sugary. And I remember feeling like, okay, this is what they think about my music. I don't really care, but I'm going to write a song about it. If you want a sweet song, this is going to be a sweet song. And I'm really happy that it happened that way because, you know, this writing that song led to this collaboration with Moonchild Sanele, who I'm so grateful and excited to have on the song. And the music video just dropped a few hours ago today. So,
Right. I'll definitely share it on our website. Can you tell us about the process of selecting the feature song? What made it stand out?
first of all, it was the fact that it was punchy and catchy, and then it has Moonchild on it. It definitely was the song to pick as like the lead single for promoting the album. That just made the most logical sense. I love the song. It's fun and it's so playful as well.
It's a
And
happy tune.
yeah, and it's also got like, these little adult innuendos, but in the form of candy and sweets. So who doesn't like something sweet?
Definitely. In what ways do you feel you've evolved as an artist since your last album? Are there new elements or styles that you explored in this project?
Absolutely. I think if you look at my first album, like that first process when I created that album, the process was short term. It wasn't long. This album took me 2 years to make. And that one, I did a lot of pre-studio work with my producer, different producer at the time, in a matter of weeks. And then I recorded the album in 5 days. My voice was tired, but this one took 2 years to make. And we really took time to just craft everything. And I can hear where I was like emotionally because all of my songs have stories behind them. I could tell what was going on and what was happening in my life, but it all came from such a good place. In terms of the evolution of my sound, I am currently working with Gavin Bradley, who has worked with some major artists, and he knows what to do with my voice. Like, he is a vocal producer, first and foremost, and he is absolutely amazing at what he does. And I've not heard my voice being treated the way that he has been doing in these records. And I am absolutely riveted and pleased. And with Gavin, I can explore all different styles of music. So he goes with me when I want to do a ballad, as featured on the album. He knows when I want to do a party song. He knows when I'm going for a soca infused kind of thing. He knows when I'm doing some kind of, 90s rock style, which all of these things do appear on the album. So I'm very excited. And, just hearing what he's also did with like Kyle Deutsch's voice on one of the songs, I Miss You, was really amazing. So I'm just happy that I can like span different genres and perform in different styles. It just gives me a lot of versatility.
Well, as you said, collaborations often bring unique dynamics to music. Can you describe the collaboration process with other artists on this album, especially on that feature song that you have called Sweetie?
On Sweetie. So with Sweetie, it was really all virtual. And it was like months of persistence because I got in touch with Moon's people. I'm like, hey, I would love to work with Moonchild. I've got this song. And I'd get a response. And then a week would go by and I wouldn't hear anything and I'd have to follow up. And then another week would go by and I'd have to follow up because they're busy and she is so busy. So it was, the constant reminder and always having to be patient and be like, okay, this is going to work out. You're going to get this collaboration. I had finished the song, my part of it anyway, and had sent an open verse. And I remember the day that I got an email from Ash saying, yeah, Moon likes it. She's happy. We're going to do it. We're going to have something for you soon. And then a couple of weeks went by and I was nervous. I was like, oh, did they lose interest? But I remember the day when I sat here at my computer and I got Moon stems and her vocals and I heard the voice and I just screamed in this apartment because I'm like, that's Moonchild on this track, on this song, killing it, because she's so clever. She's so freaking smart. Like her opening line is milk in the air, make it rain. So just, the images and it's, and it's so hooky and it's brilliant. I just love it. Yeah, that was the process of bringing all of that together. And then when we, Gavin and I finished the vocals and it was smoothed out, sent it to her people for approval. I was driving to work. I'm like, you know what? Imagine I did a music video with her. And then the wheel started spinning and then I started sending more emails. And here we are on the day of the music video release with a video too with Moonchild. It's fantastic.
In the music industry, it's constantly evolving. How do you navigate the balance between staying true to your artistic vision, adapting to a current trend in your new song and the album?
I'm not particularly driven by trends. I think for me that's just a way of easily getting swept up in the goings on and flapping with the wind and not remaining true to who you are. I think as artists we evolve naturally. We find what works. We find where things might be going that resonate with us, and then take what works for us. I don't go out with the intention of saying, oh, I want to do this because this is what's currently popular and what's working. I can't work that way because first of all, when I receive a song from wherever songs come from the universe, it just comes and this is what I have and this is what came through and this is what needs to be honored. And that's how I treat my music. In terms of influencing sound, that's a different thing. I will say to Gavin every so often, hey, I'm thinking this kind of vibe, I want to use these kinds of pads, etc. Just to give some pointers of the kind of feel that I want to have and the timbres, the sound timbres that I want to hear. But I don't do that, oh, this is what's happening right now, we're going to do this and we're going to put in the music and it's good. That feels too contrived for me. So the goal for me is not even necessarily is to always honor the music and what it wants to do and where it wants to go. Because I feel like I am a vessel of just the music. It comes through, I do my job, I perform it, I write it, and then let people have it and resonate with it.
Are there any specific messages or emotions you hope your audience takes away from, number one, the featured song and also your album?
Overall, the body of work was created for inspiring people. The album is called What Do You See? And it sort of goes through a journey of the way we as human beings define ourselves through our relationships with people, brother, sister, uncle, through our relationships with our lovers, current and past, our relationships with our friends, by the jobs that we do, the things that we do, by our hobbies that we have. That's sort of like the journey that it goes through, but none of those things really get to the true essence of who you are as a person. And that was what really sparked this journey for me, was this journey of self-discovery. And going through the album, you'll hear that, the songs come to a combination of empowering songs, of just staying true to who you are, what feels good to you, and knowing that we aren't defined by all of these external validators, that we just are. We are creatures and beings of this universe, children of God. We are here, and we don't need to be defining ourselves by putting all of these labels and markers, if I couldn't call them that, that sort of put boundaries around us. So the journey, the whole goal for the album was to really inspire people and to ask themselves, like, what do you see when you look yourself in the mirror and in your eye? You know, you look at yourself in the eye and you see yourself, you recognize yourself, but also at the same time, our bodies have changed. We don't look the same way that we did when you were 3 years old, yet you can still tell that this is you. So who are you? What are you? And that was part of the thing that, the journey that I explore. Um, and I believe that the world will give you answers to questions that you ask. You will always get confirmations of things that you believe in the world. And so, what are the things that you believe about yourself? What do you tell yourself every morning? Do you look at yourself in the mirror and think, oh God, I hate my nose. I am so disgusting right now. I'm so fat. And these are, we condition ourselves and we speak to ourselves that way. And it's really quite true that we can do the flip opposite. Not to be cocky or arrogant, but you can say to yourself, I am a good person. I am beautiful. This is the body that I have. I choose to honor and love this body. And this way, you move through the world from a place of great self-love, and then you can also go around and treat others the same way. That's what I want this album to do for people. I want people to be inspired. I want people to know and remember who they are and find the goodness in the world, because there's just so much crap everywhere.
I agree with you. They always say, if you don't love yourself, how are you supposed to love anyone else? So I
Exactly.
definitely agree on that statement. What challenges did you face during this this how can I say significant personal meetings? How did you get your songs? Um, how did you share a story? Which song was so significant to you that you had a story that you could share behind it?
This from the album, the song that I feel like was the most profound for me is "Breathe." This was the first song I wrote on the album, and it was in many ways inspired by my daily meditation and yoga. You know, your breath is your life force. It is your pranayama. It's the one thing that you do consistently and from beginning to end throughout your life. Once your breath is gone, that is it, you know? And so I'm constantly exploring this idea of life and how breathing actually centers us and grounds us. So that was the first song I wrote. I was in Canada. I met Gavin for the first time. We had brunch. I came back to New York. I was doing a little road trip. Came back to New York. I came to my apartment, and I just remember thinking, oh my God, how am I going to fund this album? Because it's not cheap making an album. And working with the people that I got to work with, this was a costly thing, but I'm like, how am I going to do it? And I walked in, and on my table was a book called Breathe or Breath by Imani Perry that I was reading at the time. And I felt like that was a sign. And also, when I was in Canada, my mom gave me a call to let me know that a childhood friend of mine had been murdered
Oh,
in South Africa by her boyfriend, who choked her, who strangled her, like he physically stopped her from breathing. And that was the day that I started recording the song. And I'd written and recorded the song, but I started working on it for the album and recorded it within a day or two. But that was what was on my mind, just you know, this horrible event that had happened. And then this gratitude that I feel to be able to wake up every morning and to say, I still have breath in my lungs. I am grateful to be alive. And any day that you're alive and moving and doing well is a good day. So thank you.
that's very, very deep. How do you think your music will resonate with a broad audience in the age of streaming services and diverse listening preferences?
I believe that my music will find the people that it needs to find. I believe, much like the songs that I needed to find at the times of my life when I was having challenges or having a good time came to me, oftentimes, I will remember where I was when I first heard a song or what was happening in my life. I've got little memories like that, and I want my music to be soundtracks for other people's memories as well, because music is that powerful. In the day of streaming and noise on social media, that is not something that I can fight or do anything about. The best I can do is to put my best foot forward. That is always what I am focused on, is what is the best that I can do right now in service of this music, in service of this album, in service of this story that I want to share with people. So I am someone who thinks that I believe it. I truly believe that my music will get to the ears that it needs to get to.
Well, definitely, that song of yours, Sweetie, is absolutely one of my favorites that I've heard in a long time. So,
Thank
definitely.
you.
Looking ahead, what are your hopes and expectations for how this album and song will be received by your fans and the industry as a whole?
I think, you know, I remember my first album. I love telling stories. I love telling stories. And I feel like an album is like a big punctuation point in an artist's life. I really do believe that. That's why it took me 6 years to be ready to do another one. And that's not to say I haven't been releasing music throughout, throughout that time. I've put out several EPs and collaborated with other people too. But a significant body of work, I think, is a big punctuation moment. I think people will take what they need to take. Obviously, I want the songs to resonate with people. Obviously, I imagine them being played in different spaces and everyone having, their joy and fun for it. I hope that I just know that this album is going to be the one that where people will actually begin to know that I've been around for quite some time, actually. Not necessarily new, but of course, just working through the noise of the very saturated industry, because there are a lot of people who have stories, there are a lot of people who are talented, but not everyone is consistent and not everyone stays the course. And that is all I can do. It's what I want to do. It's all I know how to do is music. I don't have a plan B. I don't have anything else that I want to do or know how to do. Um, I
It's also your
do
passion.
exactly. It's more than a passion. It's my livelihood. Every bit of income that I earn comes from being a musician. That was always at the center of my goals. And now I want to finesse it more. I'm finessing it more as I'm continuing to produce more and more of my own work. Um, yeah, I think of the song, the title track, What Do You See, on the album, which is very much influenced by DJ Smooth's Remember When It Rained
Oh,
from
yeah.
years ago. Because I remember I was in a club when I first heard that song, and I was dancing with my friends and we were drinking, and I just remember hearing this tune and being entranced by it. And I thought to myself, what if you entrance people similarly with that kind of groove, but then you tell them and you remind them that, I hope you look for love. I hope you look for kindness. I hope you see the beauty in all the seemingly small things. And I hope you find the love, and I hope you find the kindness. And I hope you see the beauty and the greatness of your being. Like, how many times do we get affirmations and confirmations of the beauty of ourselves through music in clubs? These are the these are the goals that I have. These are the intentions that I have with this particular album.
Peter, I just want to say thank you for your time, your music, and I believe that you are going to be reaching for the stars very, very, very soon. So I just want to say thank you for your time. It was really a pleasure meeting you.